What if I told you that a woman diagnosed with cancer in 1951 led to some of the greatest medical research in history, and she's also now known as Immortal? Would you believe me? Stay tuned.
You say to America,
I am the greatest.
some motivation.
What is going on, guys? I'd like to thank you again for joining me for another episode of America's Greatest. Today, I have another amazing person for you guys. But first, I would like to ask that you like, share, subscribe, of course, and visit us on the westsidegazette.com so you can see some of these stories there first before I actually create these videos. Now, I'm creating these videos because I'm hoping to make some of this information that I have for you guys a little bit more widely known. So every share, every like, every comment is greatly appreciated. So without further ado, I give to you America's Greatest. So today on America's Greatest, we have Henrietta Lacks. She is considered the mother of modern medicine. In 1951, Henrietta Lacks, a tobacco farmer in Baltimore, Maryland, made one of the greatest medical contributions ever. Her cells, taken from a cervical-cancer biopsy, became the first immortal human cell line. The cells reproduce infinitely in a lab. At the age of 31, Lacks visited Baltimore's Johns Hopkins Hospital, which served black patients in segregated wards during the Jim Crow era, so doctors could find out what was causing pain in her lower stomach. It turned out there was a cancerous tumor that had grown at a terrifying rate on her cervix. At the time, cervical cancer was prevalent among women, and research samples were taken from those who were diagnosed with it. A doctor at Hopkins who led a research study on patients who tested positive hoped to grow living samples from both normal and infected cells to better understand the cancer. He worked with his colleague, Dr. George Gay, the head of tissue culture research at Hopkins, who was relentlessly determined to develop the first line of immortal human cells, those that could repeatedly replicate themselves outside of the human body without ever dying. So this is what makes Miss Lacks so amazing to the world. She changed the world in the way we look at modern day medicine because they considered her cells to be immortal, which means once outside of the body, they did not die, but they continued to reproduce. Soon after her first trip to the hospital, the excruciating pain Lacks felt began to worsen as her tumor grew. So she checked herself into Hopkins for immediate treatment through surgery. The doctor who performed the surgery then removed 2 dime-sized pieces of tissue from Lacks' body, one from the infected cervix, the other from a healthy part of the organ, and had them handed off to Gay. He and his staff used Lacks samples to successfully grow the first line of immortal cells. Lacks eventually died from the cancer, leaving 5 young children without a mother. Lacks died on October 4th, 1951, at the young age of 31, but her cells continue to live. Scientists in the lab discovered to their amazement that unlike the cells they had collected over other experiments, which expired almost immediately outside of the human body, Lacks cells thrived and in fact doubled in growth every 20 to 24 hours, according to a report by Johns Hopkins Medicine. The line of cells, which scientists nicknamed HeLa cells after the first 2 letters of Lacks' first and last names, will go on to contribute to significant advances in scientific research, lead to 2 Nobel Prizes in research, and the development of vaccines, cancer treatments, in vitro fertilization, and genome sequence. The cells have been used in research of toxins, hormones, and viruses, and to study the effects of radiation and the development of the polio vaccine. Amazing as all of that is, I've put together a list of 10 facts on just why Henrietta Lacks is the mother of modern medicine. Fact number 1. Henrietta gave the world an endless supply of HeLa cells, freeing up time for discovery. And today, if you were able to put all of those cells together, they would outweigh 100 Empire State Buildings and circle the world 3 times. That is truly amazing. Fact number 2. In 1952, the worst year of the polio epidemic, which left thousands of children paralyzed, the HeLa strain revolutionized medical research. Jonas Salk used the HeLa strain to develop the polio vaccine, sparking mass interest in the cells. As demand grew, scientists cloned the cells in 1955. Fact number 3. Some cells in Lacks tissue sample behave differently than others. Scientists learned to isolate one specific cell, multiply it, and start a cell line. Isolating one cell and keeping it alive is the basic technique for cloning and in vitro fertilization. Fact number 4. When a scientist accidentally poured a chemical on a HeLa cell that spread out its tangled chromosomes, later on, scientists used this technique to determine that humans have 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs, and not 48, which provided the basis for making several types of genetic diagnosis. Number 5. It was discovered that Lacks cancerous cells use an enzyme called telomeres to repair the DNA, allowing them and other types of cancer cells to function when normal cells would have died. Anti-cancer drugs that work against this enzyme are currently in early clinical trials. Number 6. There are 17,000 patents that involve HeLa cells. Number 7. HeLa cells have also traveled to space to help scientists study the impact zero gravity has on human cells. Number 8. In 2014, chemists and engineers at Penn State University announced that in their study, HeLa cells have been implanted with technology that have the potential to cure cancer if they are able to mechanically manipulate cells inside the body. Fact number 9. The vaccine has prevented 650,000 deaths and 13 million cases of paralysis since 1988, although they've been cloning these cells since 1955. So you really got to think about how many lives Miss Lacks cells have saved so far. Now, all of this would not be possible if it were not for Henrietta Lacks and her Immortal cell line. And last but not least, fact number 10, HeLa cells have helped with research in mapping the human genome and aided in studying the human papillomavirus, commonly known as HPV, which causes the cervical cancer that killed Miss Henrietta Lacks. Thanks so much. And as always, we ask that you guys like, share, subscribe, and make sure you visit us on the Westside Gazette. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.